In one of my previous videos, I talked about if you actually need to go to college or university for getting a job in the creative industry. So I know you just got into this video, but definitely look at that one if you want to get the answer to that question. But let's say you are going down the path of going to university/college. What courses should you take? Well, this video is going to tell you exactly what I took and what I think works best to get the most success in the creative industry, at least in my opinion. Now, with most of these videos, I'm just going to give you this little disclaimer or like a little note. A lot of these are going to be subjective. These are what I took. It's not going to guarantee you success. It's just what I feel like is going to give you a mixed bag of different skills that are going to be very useful for the creative industry, but also just life in general. So I'm going to start off with the obvious ones. First off is the photo or video courses. These ones are going to just be ones to help you learn about camera skills and how to maneuver around like buttons and do different things. It's going to give you in-class experience usually, and these are the ones that I took. But ironically, I took these at the end of my university career. Like I was there for about 4 years. I took it pretty much at the end. So I didn't really do as much camera work, quote unquote, until the end for the most part. We did a little bit, but nothing like heavy in terms of like a full course or anything like that. Now, next that follows that is obviously editing or like things to actually make the stuff that you record or create and make them into a final product or close to a final product. So obviously next is going to be like editing courses for like Premiere or DaVinci or anything that involves those types of softwares. I took actually some of those in high school as well. So I learned like the old Flash, I learned the old Adobe and things, but I actually did that in university and college as well. So that helped me get a grasp of what it is basically now, because since university, it's not really changed that much. But obviously in high school, that was like a long time ago. So that has changed significantly. Just a little bit of a ramble there. Now, next to go along with that is also try like a sound editing course or something that has a little bit more of a... Why sounds particularly is because when you are dealing with audio equipment, especially on set, or if you're going and doing weddings and events, just like I mentioned a lot on this channel, when you're doing these types of things, it's very useful to have some experience. In my courses, for example, we're using like Zoom devices and different audio interfaces just to actually record and figure out what to do. And then we go into like things like Pro Tools or even FL Studio and things and learn and actually manufacture what we needed, like soundscapes or different ways of making audio much better than it actually is, how to save audio, etc. Trust me, these skills are very valuable if you're doing events and things when you need to actually have the knowledge to actually go and edit something or save something, because, you know, if you don't have AI or AI doesn't do properly, you can go and do it manually. It'll just save you a lot of time and a lot of hassle and probably a lot of money because you don't have to pay anyone to do it. Another to go along with like this more setup stuff is lighting courses or anything with like cinematography that helps you understand it. So for example, if you learn how to light yourself or like light a scene, very useful, because that is just going to be good if you're trying to go into like filmmaking particularly, or if you're trying to go into something where it allows you to learn how to create an atmosphere. Very useful. But again, you can also learn some of the stuff on YouTube. Pretty much everything I'm going to mention in this video can be learned on YouTube, but I highly recommend going and experimenting in classes at different institutions because there is a whole different experience. And like I said, I covered a little bit more of that in the other video because there is some good and bads of each. Another one that's pretty important, but I'm going to loop it together, are visual courses or art courses. These ones are going to be where like they have more of the theory and the ideas behind it. It might seem like it's a little bit trivial, like why should I go take this stuff? But honestly, I learned a little bit of the like stuff that we need to learn conceptually that actually helps when you're creating things, like just the theorists and the different things like that. Not exactly that important, but it is useful knowledge to play into what I mentioned earlier and what I am still mentioning. So these are just ones that enhance the skills, but these ones are probably like secondary compared to what I also mentioned, as long as you're going into stuff that's actually like in person, on set kind of things, and not like theory or like research based stuff. One great one is also copywriting classes. Copywriting is essentially, again, if I get this wrong, just Google it or just let me know in the comments down below. But copywriting basically is like how to write stuff to sell. So like if you see how Apple writes their iPhone things, or how certain product descriptions are written in such a way that it like entices you to buy things in a very short paragraph or short sentences, copywriting is very useful. And why you would want to do this particularly is, especially you're doing events and different things and you're going in business yourself. This allows you to write for your website or write on your ads, etc. So it's useful knowledge to learn to be actually able to do that on your own, and you don't have to, again, hire someone, or you don't know if someone's screwing you over. It's just going to allow you to describe your business in the best and most crucial way possible. This is even a course I'm taking on one of the apps right now that helps me learn different things to help with my website or just different things that I'm doing online. So this is always valuable knowledge, and copywriting in particular is not going to go out of date in any way, because you always have to be able to sell things. You always have to have that knowledge to do that stuff. And last but not least, which is actually probably the most important one, is writing classes. You're going to say, why writing classes? Why is this important more than anything else? Well, because when you go to writing courses, at least the ones I went to, at least the ones I experienced, these ones helped me write a story. These ones were like telling me how to write properly, how to use my words specifically, how to even sometimes talk, or like, I guess if you're writing, then you're kind of like talking a certain way too, like your tone and things. So it's absolutely crucial, because the writing courses will help when you're communicating with people. It'll help when you're describing things. Like I said, copywriting also goes into that potentially. And also it just helps tell a story. Like you can convey a story in terms of like a storyboard, or in terms of like what your main idea is for like a show, a movie, etc. And then you can translate that into something that can actually become a full film project or a full creative project. Maybe it's something for an event that you have an idea. Writing is honestly very, very useful. And I highly recommend just also focusing on that for things. Like don't maybe go into that as a full like degree or something, because I think if you're going into stuff like events and things like that, it's better to have some of the camera knowledge and some of the actual like technical knowledge. But having this as a course is extremely valuable, and it just helps emphasize so much of what you're going to do in the future and pretty much in life in general. Like this isn't just applied to the creative stuff like the other things do. This is actually pretty much going to work with anything that you're going to try to do, because you're going to probably have to talk about it or do something in some way that you're going to use words for, or you're going to say stories, etc. It's very useful. Now I know the ironic part is I just rambled a little bit for that last point, but I can't drive the emphasis enough where you need to actually have this in your back pocket just to always use. So that being said, I could describe these more, but I think it's going to give you a great idea. So if you want to see that video or some other cool video, it'll be right over here. If you want to check out the channel, it'll be right over here as well. If you want to hit me up on social media, ask any questions, let me know in the comments down below, or on my Instagram social media. It'll be on screen somewhere now. And I really hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Hope you got value. Peace.